Peace. This is Brother Hatim, and you have joined us on Giami Journey Radio. Be sure to check out our site and subscribe at tribe.giamijourney.com.
All my brothers and sisters, hold hands and bow your heads. Let us pray. God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth amongst the gods. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Ashe. Defend the poor and the fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and the needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of court. I have said, ye are God, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. Allahu Akbar.
This is Kadara Franks, and you are now listening to the Giami Journey Radio.
Keep up with the journey. Check out what we have done in the past. Go to journeyarchives.com.
This is Adnan Sheikh, aka Ace, live from Shisha Lounge, and you are now listening to Giami Journey Radio.
Be sure to follow Giami Journey on Facebook, Google Plus, and Twitter. Check us out. Join the journey.
This is Adnan Sheikh, aka Ace, live from Shisha Lounge, and you are now listening to Giami Journey Radio.
You are now listening to Giami Journey Radio with Monica. Enjoy.
This is Melina, and this is Giami Journey Radio.
This is Willie. Welcome to Giami Journey Radio. I want to give shout out to Silver Kevin, all my Silver Nation out there. I want to give shout out to my mom. I give shout out to my dad for raising me and my family for being around me. And I want to give shout out to the people of my generation that's trying to do something big.
This is Cleveland, and you're listening to Giami Journey Radio.
Peace, Hotep. It's Mansour Hotep, aka Mr. Deity. Mr. Deity, does it sound good? I think it sounds great. Right now, you listening to Giami Journey Radio.
If you're not adding anything to the culture that you claim, you don't deserve to carry his name. This is Brother Hatim coming at you live, and you are now listening to the Giami Journey Radio. Shouts out to the Giami tribe, Giami family. Stand up. Peace. not adding anything to the culture that you claim, you don't deserve to carry his name. This is Brother Hatim coming at you live, and you are now listening to the Giami Journey Radio. Shouts out to Giami Tribe, Giami family. Stand up. And you are now listening to Giami Journey Radio. Peace. This is Gina.
This is Gina.
And you are now
You listen to my daddy.
on Giami
Journey
Radio. Peace.
Peace.
Man, I'm live, sitting at the seashore, kicking it, going over Facebook, 'cause I ain't got a lot of time during the week. You know, I know a lot of y'all see a lot of posts regularly, but I'll check out those news sites as they stream to me, and if they're interesting, I post them up. I'm very eclectic, so my show don't have one focus, don't have necessarily an agenda that I'm going to cover. But one thing I want to do right now, I want to send shouts out to those fingers that support me. One of them is going to be noticeably missing, but my heart still goes out. Those of you that know, I'm doing a fundraiser for my brother PJ, who I feel was unjustly prosecuted and convicted. I don't think his side of the story got out, so I'm trying to raise money for that. You could go on, if you're listening to me on Spreaker, it's on my timeline. It possibly also popped up on my timeline on Facebook and Twitter. I'm trying to raise, this is about 45 G's. I'm trying to raise that so we can get him a quality lawyer so that his side of the story can be heard. With all of the injustice going on around America, I'm finding it problematic that not enough focus is being paid attention to some of the small businesses out there that are also under attack. Because in part of the strategy that I'm noticing is seek and destroy. The system, white supremacy, whatever you want to call it, is seeking and destroy small businesses, especially when they're coming from our community, especially when they have an opportunity to do great things. When they're we've gone and do barbershops. No diss to barbershops, because we all need them, and a lot of good conversations go on in barbershops. No diss to beauty salons, because we need those, you know what I'm saying? But when we step outside the box and we start thinking about grabbing markets, major markets, there's an issue, you know what I'm saying? Stay away from the trucking, stay away from the services that people really need and want to add to their life, and they want to use a lot of the disposable income. Some of the others, y'all stay doing hair and nails, you know what I'm saying? Because that's where we want you. We want you to be worried about your appearance, so that you can look good in the suits that we sell you, so that you can look good showing the underwear that we sell you, in the jeans that we sell you, and drinking the pops that we sell you. Look good doing that. Look good, advertise us for free, because we're going to stamp our name on everything that you do so that other people trying to be like you can do that. No, don't get in those fields, you know what I'm saying? Don't get into the fashion and producing your own stuff. Don't get into the drinks and producing your own stuff. Don't get into the food and produce your own stuff. No. We could do that for you. Now, listen, as a person on a journey, as a Giami man, one of the first things that everybody in my crew has to learn is the definition of a nation. And I state this to you, and I've been stating this to you, is a nation is a stable, historically developed community of people with territory, economic life, distinctive culture, and language in common. And all those are important, right? But listen. You see, number 2 is an economic life. Territory creates, or having a territory enables you to create economic life. If you don't want somebody to become a nation, you don't allow them to establish territory, and you punish them when they infringe on your territory. So if you're doing something like a drink that is encroaching on a multi-billion-dollar market, you know what I'm saying? You're encroaching on the territory, so we have to put you back in your place. You know what I'm saying? You want to do a movie studio, you want to do a major multimedia company, we got to put you back in your place. If we can't buy you out, we're going to destroy you. And we need to understand that. I don't mind that. That's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? We just have to understand the game that we're playing, because in order for us to uplift our community, in order for us to move up out of poverty, or to move from the level that Claude Anderson calls a permanent underclass, right? We have to establish our territory, right? So now, one of the things one of my elders told me, you know, and this is my brother PJ's father told me this, that in jungle training, one of the first things that they teach you, and I said this before, and a lot of this is a repeat, but y'all, you know, I repeat myself, those that listen to me, that the first thing you have to do when you get dropped in the jungle, in your jungle training, is to learn about the territory, learn where you are, get your bearings about you. You know what I'm saying? Now, listen. We have to understand where we are. We got to get our bearings about us, right? We know that we have been dropped in the belly of the beast in America. Don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful country. We got freedom of speech to a certain extent. We got freedom of movement to a certain extent. We can vote for who we want, as long as it's mainly in the 2 parties that's running shit. We're free to spend our money anywhere we want, as long as, you know, I mean, even with the limited choices there, you know what I'm saying? Just don't do black unless it's church, or you getting your hair done, or you getting your nails done. You know what I'm saying? Don't spend, and even in that, the products that come out of that, you know what I'm saying? Because this is what's incredible to me. When I look at my community, there is no black community. People get mad at me for saying that. When I look at my people, if we was to do nothing but capture the dollars within the hair care and the nail business for our people, right? We would be a powerhouse if we did nothing but that. You know what I'm saying? But lo and behold, even when we try doing that, I'm telling you, it's going to be some problems, and we got to repair ourselves. We got to prepare our minds. You know what I'm saying? Because what's going on is vastly. Now, what I want to do right now is, my brother, Mr. Deedy, sent me some tracks, so I'm going to play his track called Ghost in the Shell Up Under while I'm ranting before I really get into what I'm going to get into, right? So if you listen closely, you can hear Ghost in the Shell. It's going to shout out Mr. Deedy. But you know, because like I said, I get support. You know what I'm saying? And it's the moral support. And I, you know, like I said, I do this because I love doing it. You know, and I suggest that everybody get out here and do what they love, because what I'm trying to do is get people to understand, look, that where we are talented, where our kids are talented, we need to find those niches and start getting in them and taking advantage of them and start supporting each other as we do, because that's the only way we're going to get out the situation we are in. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're moving into the best of times and the worst of times. For those of us who are depending on others to provide for us, we are moving into the worst of times. For those of us that are not at least thinking about ferrying some money to the side, putting some money to the side, for those of us that are not thinking about investing, for those of us that's not thinking about starting businesses, and we're training ourselves, and we're training our children to go out and work for others. You know what I'm saying? When in our community, we have enough business, we have enough need to create businesses around those needs. You know what I'm saying? And we need to support those. You know what I'm saying? So I salute all those small entrepreneurs out there. You know what I'm saying? And in the small way that I can, I'm going to help those that's in my environment, those that's in my surroundings. And I suggest that all of you do that too. You know what I'm saying? Find those small businesses that's going on in your community and start supporting them. Find those artists that are saying things that you want to hear and support them. Find those YouTube video people that's saying something you like and support them. Yeah, and I've been looking at the YouTube too, so I'm going to jump on that. Yo, so support me in my efforts to help my brother get a fair try. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? If I get 45,000 people to give me $1 a piece, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be able to raise enough money to give the support, because I don't have it like that yet. You know what I'm saying? Never give up hope. Never know what's going to happen. Never know how it's going to pop off. But hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm asking. So if you want to help, help. I also know that December's coming up, and I got a bunch of kids who trying to take I call it royalty. Royalty took the number up on me. He want to take 40. He want to take 30 boys and send 10 girls to Simp's account and take 30 boys to Simba. So I'm like, man, you know, we got to do some major hustling in the next couple of months, and that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. You know, because my goal is to build. You know what I'm saying? The only way I can build is one, to start educating, because that's what I'm good at. I'm good at challenging people and getting them to think. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a storyteller. But before we move on, let's do this. Now, I'm not going to bring a lot of music. This is not going to be one of those long ones that I'm doing. I'm going to keep this one short. But there's plenty of challenges that I have to speak of, you know. My brother Preston being one of the ones on my mind right now. It's been on my mind. You know, it has slowed down my productions, along with, you know, like the passing of my dog, you know. After 18 years of service, you know what I'm saying, my dog finally gave up the ghost, so, you know, that's kind of fucking with me too. So, you know, I'm getting up in the morning and still expecting him to be looking at me to take him for a walk, you know. And I know a lot of y'all want you to get another dog, you know. You know, like I said, when you have something that's involved with you for that long, something or someone involved with you that long, and then all of a sudden it's gone, it's just not easy to jump up and replace that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I said, that it is what it is. So now, I've been doing some research, and I've been reading a book called, the book is called History of Egypt, Chaldea, Syria, Babylonia, and Assyria, Volume 1. I finished Volume 1. I'm on Volume 2. This could be found on LibriVox, which is a very good application. And it's an old book. They take old books and they read them. They're in the old books that's in the public domain, and they read them. And in reading these books, you know, you get some good information. And this is a book. I'm not gonna say it's not a bad book, but I need to preface that with saying that it basically whitewashes the history of Egypt. So you have to read it with an open mind. You have to really look at, remember who's the author, and go through it. The author of it is Gaston Maspero. He gives some good information, but then also he gives some bias. I feel some biased opinions, like my brother Preston is not giving the Egyptians a fair hearing. You know what I'm saying? Especially he's not giving those in the South a fair hearing, because I heard all about what he done found in his research about Egypt, and all of it is about either light-skinned Egyptians or the lighter ones are higher up, and there's some darker ones, and I mean, the darker ones are all the servants and blah 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 blah. But I still got to go through this type of information so that you can get what you need. And I'm getting information that I need, and it reminded me, along with some of the other YouTube videos that I've been watching, that it reminded me about the story of Osar and Set. For those who don't know, that's Osiris and Isis. And I'm going to cover that a little bit on this podcast, because this breaks down the role of men and women in societies. And he also gave some good insight on the story, right? I mean, that part for me was kind of dope. See, because it kind of contradicts the other stuff, because for those that don't know, Osiris was called Perfect Black. When you look at his images, there is no doubt that this brother is, they call him the god of the perfect black. You know what I'm saying? And they also tell you that the original name of Kemet was Land of the Blacks, or the Black Land. You know what I'm saying? You hear some that say Land of the Blacks. Then you have some people that say the Black Land. You know what I'm saying? And it's because of the soil that after the inundations of the Nile, they will become perfectly black and become some of the most fertile soil in the world. Giving Egypt a bread basket. And Egypt was the bread basket of the world, shit like that. But that's cool, I like Land of the Blacks. I'm biased too, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm biased when it comes to mine. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure that when I'm giving my kids this history, that it's coming from their perspective. I want them to understand that long before Alexander the Great, and long before the Phoenicians and the Assyrians and the Chaldeans and the Babylonians, you know what I'm saying, on the face of the Nile was this group of black people who called themselves the first and the highest of mankind. Oh, that's dope. And even before then, there was some that was darker, that were in what would be considered the southern part of the country, the Sudan, Ethiopia, down south, all that civilization moved up north. It moved up to Nile. It didn't move down to Nile. You know what I'm saying? Egypt is the child of Ethiopia, Kush, and the area called the Sudan, right? But no, you won't get that, because according to the history that they would tell us, you know what I'm saying, the Egyptians come from Asia. I mean, that's funny, you know what I'm saying, really, it's funny. You know what I'm saying, until the Asians came into Egypt, there was nothing. You know what I'm saying? And another thing that I really dig about studying the Egyptian history is that the Egyptians, and this might be considered one of the reasons that black folks all over the world is catching the hell that we catch, is that Egypt was very open for a long time. So when different religions came in, they didn't try to destroy the religion or try to change the religion. They brought that people's religion into their pantheon. It was open. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the symbol for Hetep is a mat and a piece of bread. You know what I'm saying? So giving peace, or the highest form of peace, was providing somebody with a mat to sit on and provide your guests with food. That was peace. So visitors coming in, and you can find this all over the continent, because if not, for those that talk about the savagery of Africans, of my people, I was on the head when they came into our land. You know what I'm saying? Because that was the fact. If that was the fact, you know what I'm saying? Europeans would have never made it on the shore. Arabs would have never been able to encroach. No, we opened up and we allowed them in. And once they built up enough power, that's when they start taking off. You know what I'm saying? So we got to, we might have to check this love for humanity that we have for our own protection, because we see how that shit worked out. It didn't work out good. So anyway, getting back to before I go into that, this one is called Stand Up by Mr. Deity. He sent me these tracks. I want to share it with you, because he put in his work, so I want to make sure he get credit for what he does. It'll be playing under while I'm going through my little piece. So now, I love mythology and folk tales. For those that don't know, I got a show called Folk Tales for Grown Folks. You can look it up. Hashtag Folk Tales for Grown Folks, all one word. You can find all the episodes. You can also find it on my station. Check it out. That's one of my regular shows. I try to do that every Tuesday morning. But like I said, I've been kind of down, you know what I'm saying? And, but hey, it's a phase. You know what I'm saying? I'm accepting what is, and I'm moving through it. I'm working through it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the journey is not just for me. I mean, it's not just for you. The journey, I'm on the journey too, and I struggle. You know what I'm saying? I struggle with my workouts. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fat dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm not usually a lazy guy. You know what I'm saying? But I've been feeling the pressure. You know what I'm saying? And, I got family locked up. I got more family going to jail. I just haven't spoke on that. You know what I'm saying? I got people around me with all types of issues, and guess who they talk to? You know what I'm saying? And I'm good at giving advice. I'm also good at staying the fuck out the way too. You know what I'm saying? So now, I've been listening to a lot of stuff on YouTube, and one of the things that popped up on YouTube was a story about Asar and the Set, and the comparison between the black community and the myths, that myth particularly for how that myth fits the plight of the black community today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through that real quick for those of you that got time, so lend me your ears, all right? So for those that don't know, Asar is the actual name for Osiris. Aset is the actual name for Isis. You know what I'm saying? Those Isis and Osiris are the group interpretation of these deities. So, like I said, our ancestors say, you know what I'm saying, if you want to understand the soul of something, you got to call it by its original name. You know what I'm saying? So we have to start, and that's another lesson for us, we have to start doing the research and start looking deeper at things. So the story I saw in the set, I could start where everybody else started, but I want to start at the very beginning. All right? So you got Nut and Jeb. You know what I'm saying? Nut and Jeb. All right? Nut is the sky, and Jeb is the earth, and they had a passionate love affair, and they became so close and entwined in making love that it was hard for life to basically exist between them. Now, there's different stories and different versions of this, so you can find them yourself. Well, anyway, in their passion, you know what I'm saying, they forgot about everything that was going on. You know what I'm saying? So Ra got upset, right? What's up? Ra got upset and in a sense jealous that they had this type of love affair. So what he did was he cursed Nut when he found out, or some of y'all might look at me like nut. He cursed her and said that she's pregnant. You will never give birth on any of the 360 days that I am God. Since I'm the son, I control the days. So on none of my days will you have these children, right? So Jeb and Nut, doing their thing, and Nut cries, and she cries to a deity by the name of Tahuti. For those that don't know who Tahuti is also known as Thoth, and Tahuti is credited with to look at the different deities and see what they contributed to humanity, right? Because when you understand what they contribute to humanity, and you look at, in a sense, the sex in which they civilized human beings. So if we could look at what the original woman gave to women, and look what the original man gave to man, we can identify the roles that we are supposed to play. Because one of the things that's plaguing our community and plaguing the world today is the roles of men and women have kind of been confused. Nobody knows what the hell a man is. We got women defining what men are. We got women defining what men are, and we got men defining what women are, and nobody really knows what the roles are. You know what I'm saying? We get confused on that, and in the confusion, we have arguments. As my man Fela Kuti say, confusion break bones. So we're confused. So back to the story. So she cries to Tahuti, and Tahuti, you know, being lunar deity himself, goes to the moon and gambles with the moon. You know, being wisdom, he don't lose, or it don't lose. So he's gambling, and he wins 1/72 of the moon's light, because the only deity that can compete with the sun is the moon, because the moon reflects the sun and it has its own light. So instilling this light, or getting this light, winning this light from the moon, it gave Tahuti control of the light, and it gave this 1/72 piece of light to Luke. And in those 1/72 amount of time, which equals out to 5 total days of light, she gave birth. And in giving birth, she gave birth to Asar, Aset, Heru, the elder, Aset, and they also call her Neptes, or Heru. Gave birth to these deities, right? Now, I want to stress this point. So at the beginning of time, or at the beginning of the world, Nut, which was a sky goddess, another form of Aset, gave birth to the past, the present, and the future. Because she gave birth to Asar, she gave birth to all that was on this planet, and she also gave birth to the future, which was Heru. Now that's an interesting fact, you know, for those of us that have beef with the black woman. Now we got beef right now at the present state because we know that we all could be doing better, but it ain't just the black woman's fault. We need to be clear on the roles, and we need to play our roles, because when we're not playing our roles, we get confused. So now on to our song and our song. All right, so now I got that out the way because we had to talk about their birth, right? Now when Asar was born, it was proclaimed that Asar was the king of the world, right? And Set, his brother, got jealous as hell about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because now we got to understand that Asar was the god of the perfect black. Now, for all those that say black is a negative symbol, was assigned to Asar, who was the god of justice, the god of life, the god of fertility, who brought peace to the world and brought civilization to the world. This dude was known as the perfect black man, right? And Set was known as the evil man. You know what I'm saying? He was born with white skin, red hair, and red freckles. You know what I'm saying? Now, this ain't been a hot town. This is in the story, right? So we got the god of the perfect black being born. We got this god of evil, and one of the reasons that he was depicted as evil because he was born infertile or impotent, right? Asar was born potent, and his sisters loved him, but he chose Aset, and Set had to go with Neptes, right? Now, this is the issue in the book. This is what they broke down in the book that I was reading. I just told you about. Asar symbol was the Nile, and the Nile would fertilize the earth, which was the symbol for Aset every year with the inundations, right? So he gave birth through his unity with Aset to all of the stuff around him. Now, what would happen is that every now and then, the Nile would overflow beyond the point that everybody was used to, and it would extend into the desert. And when the pure water of the Nile hit the desert, which belonged to Set, which was why he was called infertile, it would sprout life. Now, this is another part of the beat between Set and Asar. Set was mad at Asar because Asar would bring life to the sterile desert, to the impotent desert, okay? And that represented Asar, in a sense, impregnating Nephthys, or the wife of Set. So Set had beef. Now, Asar goes out to civilize the world. He don't put his brother in charge. Nah. He put his wife in charge. And this black woman runs the kingdom perfectly. Anytime Set tried to get out of hand, she checked him. Now Set is really mad. So Set gets Asar, basically murders him. I'm going to go through all that. Now, in the murder, this is before Set had a child with him, but Nephthys had a child with Asar, and the name of the child was Anubis. You can look him up as well. So now Set is really mad. He's upset, and he sends Asar in a casket down the Nile. He lands somewhere, and there's a whole story around that. I won't go into that story. Set fires the casket, and through her spirituality gives birth to Heru, right? Through a connection with Asar. And giving birth to Heru, she hides the body of Asar, and Set, while hunting at night by the light of the moon, stumbles upon the casket, chops them up into 14 pieces, and spreads it all over Egypt. She takes her sisters and go out, her sister, and go out and find Asar's body, right? And place them back together. Now, this is what's dope. She uses her sister's son, Anubis, to help sniff out Asar, find the body parts, put them back together, right? Only part they don't find is the phallus. Now, what that got to do with where we are as a black community now? First off, the black man is gone. The black man has been hacked into 14 different pieces, and we've been spread all over. You know what I'm saying? And now, what would be called our kingdom is being run by our little brother Set, who's causing all type of havoc. You know what I'm saying? He's causing confusion, right? Now, Set is all hiding from Set right now, and in a sense, trying to fit into Set's society without bringing the attention to the real black men. Now, Set, black women, you have to now start putting us back together. You know what I'm saying? Because I want y'all to understand this. Everything that a black man do is for black women. I want you to understand that. When we go out and buy rings, it's for the black woman. When we go out and buy the flyers new shoes, it's for black women. When we go get our hair cut, and we buy these diamonds, and we buy these watches, and we buy this gold and shit, we doing it to impress you. And because you are impressed by the little stuff that we're doing, because you're impressed by a piece of us, the external piece, you're not attracted to the whole one because we're not there yet. We need to be put together by a woman. So now this means that you have to practice some of the stuff that I said practice in order to put us back together. Set was known as the queen of illusion. She was known as the mistress of magic. Her magic was so powerful that she was able to outsmart Ra. That's a whole nother story. This black woman was cold-blooded, and she carried herself with dignity and honor. You know what I'm saying? And showed that loyalty to her man, in a sense where she even went around and put him together and raised their son up to get revenge. Now, many of you black women, you have single bastard children. Now, I want you to hear the main defense that Set had when finally, after all the battling and all the war that Set had with Heru taking over the throne. For those of them that Heru was the son of Asar and Set. And his main plea in court before the gods was very simple. There's no way that Heru is the son of Asar because I killed that motherfucker myself, and I know that he was dead, and this bastard was born after him. So now, this whole shit about us having bastard children is not a new thing. You know what I'm saying? Because from this bastard child comes the savior of the world. Now, moms, black women, are you raising your sons for battle? Are you preparing them for battle? You know what I'm saying? Are you setting examples for your sons to go to battle? Because we know there's a lot of our children that have been born out of wedlock. We know that we have a lot of these kids, but moms, are you setting examples for your sons? Because in a lot of cases, and what I'm hearing on YouTube about black men, we ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Are you raising your sons for battle? Are you raising your sons to be the next hero? Or are you raising them to be safe? You know what I'm saying? I have to ask the question. Are you raising sets? Are you raising her rules? Are you stepping up to the plate? Because now I'm going to go back to what I said. As black men, we do everything to impress you. Once the jewelry start being impressive, we're going to move to something else. Once the language that we address you with is not acceptable, and you don't lay with us, that's going to change. Once you're not accepting just the external part of a man, that shit is going to, the internal is going to start building up. Once you start carrying yourself in a certain way, all this shit that's plaguing our community is going to disappear. All the disrespect for women is going to disappear. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I'm going to challenge you, right? Find a woman that carries herself in the right way and show me where disrespect is happening. You know what I'm saying? Because she carries herself in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? That, and I've noticed this. Black women that carry themselves the way I said carry herself don't have some of the same problems that those that's out here that's loud mouthing and running around and doing crazy shit, you know what I'm saying? They don't have the same problem. See, because men will step up for them. Real men will step up for them. The pieces of us that do exist, you know what I'm saying? We'll step up for them, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I done seen this myself. You know what I'm saying? But now I don't have women in my family. You know what I'm saying? I don't have women in my family get me involved with some unrighteous shit. And as I got older, I started getting involved with that shit. I stopped, you know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't productive. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to kill another black man. I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? Because you pulling me into little shit because you are sick. Women, I'm just saying, you are the healers of our community. When you start healing yourself, when you start protecting your womb, because out of your womb comes the saviors of our people. You know what I'm saying? When you start doing that, a lot of shit that's happening will stop. When we start taking responsibility and start raising our sons, because listen, for many of you, for those that don't have kids, you ain't gonna have, you don't necessarily have this problem, but we got a bunch of young men out here. We got a bunch of boys. I go to a school where, I work at a school where I can say maybe 75% of my young boys, my young black boys, don't have a father in their life. Everyone that's sitting in my office, almost everyone that sits in my office in trouble, don't have a strong role model in their house, don't have a black man in their life, or has one in their part-time, right? So that means that there is a generation out there. There is a generation out there that need our sets. You know what I'm saying? We need to set the bar so high. Because listen, black women, I'm telling you this. If we're spending this money to show off for you, if we're spending this money to try to get you, you know what I'm saying? What will happen if you change your desires, needs, and wants to things on a higher level? I don't want you just to be able to spend money on me. I want you to be able to generate that money from our community. I don't want you just to talk this bullshit to me. I want to see that you have some thoughts in your mind. I don't care what type of car you drive. I want to see what type of vision you have, and I want to see the work that you're doing in the community. I want to see some of the young men that you're working with to train to become strong black men. When y'all start changing your desires and change what you accept, the black man has no choice but to change. You know what I'm saying? And those of you that's doing that, I'm guaranteeing that there will be a group of men that will be able to protect you. But don't try to put, you know what I'm saying? Because we won't have to worry about you putting us into no bullshit. There will be no abuse in your home. there will be no problems with men being disrespectful to you. You know why? Because we will smash them motherfuckers. But some of you is being disrespected. Forgive me for saying this. You need to be disrespected. You need to be checked. Some of the shit that I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Because I can expect this from a lot of the men because a lot of the men are not men. They're just grown boys. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the responsibility. They can't. They plant these seeds and they keep it moving. So they don't have to. They don't feel the responsibility to have to sit there and raise that seed. Why? Because the mothers are raising them. Right? And they believe that their mom is supposed to do that. They believe that their children are going to be all right because they didn't have a dad. And you need to have qualifications. I told my daughters a long time ago, baby, you got a choice in every relationship you get involved with. You can either be a Jew in that man's crown or a notch on his belt. And I'm saying, sister, no longer accept being a notch on a motherfucker's belt, because that's what you're going to turn into a motherfucker. You do not, and I can't understand for the life of me, why would you give away immortality for free? What do I mean by that? I got women that's having kids. I got women that's giving birth to children that the daddy is nowhere around, and you would give that child that man's last name. Why would you give immortality to a reckless individual like that? Let that motherfucker die. Let his name go down in infamy. You know what I'm saying? If you name your child after a man that is not dead for anything less than death or serving time for serving his community, for anything less than that, you need to give him your last name because he belongs to your family, because it's going to be your family that's raising him. It's going to be maybe if you were blessed enough to have a father or a grandfather or a grandmother or a strong mother in your life, it's going to be y'all raising that child. So that child should carry your name. No child should ever carry a name of somebody that chooses not to take care of him. It's a fucking insult to the Creator, it's an insult to you, and it's an insult to our community. We got all these children walking around with daddy's last name, and daddy don't have shit to do with the child. So daddy needs his whole family line need to be forgotten. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just on that. Because these stories give us keys, and we're not reading these stories. They're childhood myths, right? They're things that we shouldn't just, we don't need to deal with because we're adults, but that's bullshit. It's life lessons in them. It's jewels in them if we take time to study them. If we take time to really get into them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna state this, and some of y'all gonna get upset with me, but you know, in Africa, we didn't have religions. Do you know that? We had ways of life. These things provided ways of life. The sacrifices and the things we did promoted our way of life. We didn't go to church services and stuff like that. No. You know what I'm saying? We didn't, we had temples, and in those temples were places of learning. They weren't places just to come and worship. You came in when you had a problem, you needed something solved. You go to seek advice from an individual that was studied in the arts that you may be having a problem with. So in Egypt, you had temples set up for those in love. You had temples set up for those that wanted to become masons. You had temples that did certain things, and these individuals in the temples were servants of the deity that brought that spirit to the world. And they would be able to advise you on how to become or how to do better. You know what I'm saying? When you go to the damn church services, when you sat around and got fleeced, they fleeced you in other ways. Now, it was other ways that they fleeced you. You know, there was still some fleecing going on. But the piece is that many of us are arguing about religions when, in fact, all this shit is myth. All this shit was designed to help us live a better life. You know, I know some of y'all gonna be mad, Brother Hatem, you's an atheist or whatever. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. You know what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make is, if what you are doing is not serving your life, it's not serving your people, your community, if it's not serving your children, if it's doing nothing but making you feel better, no matter how bad your situation is, you might need to chop that motherfucker down and throw it in the fire of reality and see what comes up. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, some of y'all is working, others is not working. All right? Now, I'm going to stop there. You know, I know I kind of ramble, but you know, black men, you need to study us all. Black women, you need to study the stories of our sex. You know what I'm saying? We need to become those, you know. Oh, okay, but let me get on the black man too. All right, guys. Slavery supposedly is over, and us being on breeding farms or thinking we're on breeding farms and thinking that you know our many, you know, nowadays as people used to be fucking you know, as many women as we could. The day for that is over. You know what I'm saying? You need to learn to protect yourself. You need to, if you don't take responsibility for protecting nobody else, for raising your children, you don't take that responsibility, why don't you do the right thing? Get a vasectomy. You know what I'm saying? And put on a condom. You know what I'm saying? Because we need men, if you're going to have children, you need to be there in your child's life. I saw the importance of that. I see it every day. But I took my daughters to father-daughter dance, and I saw all the daughters running around and feeling totally safe because their daddies was in the room. It was a beautiful sight. You know what I'm saying? And I really, really feel for some of you men or some of you boys out there who have never had the experience of your child having fun. You know what I'm saying? That really never took the time to take your child in an environment where your child feels safe. You know what I'm saying? I really feel for you. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what you're missing. See, because the best part of life is being able to pass on and being able to look at your children and see little mini versions of you and to feel safe or at least partly secure as much as you can in the fact that your future is secure. Not necessarily your financial future, but that your name will possibly live on. And as men, one of the major things that we have to look at as far as the role is that we are protectors. You know what I'm saying? We are protectors. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's say you can't provide. Let's say you're not a good provider. You know what I'm saying? Because that protecting to provide, the providing piece is something that was necessarily thrown on us because Asar and Aset brought things, both of them brought things to the table, but the one thing I'm clear in is that Aset represented the soil through which life comes, right? Men plow the fields, and in plowing the fields, we protect the plants that's out in the field, but it's the woman that nurtures, it's the woman that in a sense provides, because it was the woman that discovered agriculture. Men did it because we were built a little bit different and we were a little bit stronger, and we could promote that. But brothers, we have to get back into protecting. Because if we do not really take this protecting thing seriously, we are going to, our children that are here now will be placed in a permanent underclass. We're not protecting black people. We're not protecting ourselves. You know what I'm saying? First off, we ain't protecting ourselves when we have sex. We're not protecting our kids, because part of protecting them is protecting their future, to make sure that they are going to be able to have a place to lay their hat. Right? A place to hang their hat, a place to hang their coat. You know what I'm saying? We need to be able to protect that. That's your major role. You're the warrior as far as the physical fighter in the community. And it ain't all just about physical fighting. It's about having a strategy with other black men to make sure that your children are going to be safe throughout their life. And then when the little boys go into men, they can take their role, and now you can move into an advisory capacity. And that's a beautiful thing. I feel sorry for many of you that have never experienced that. You know, because one of the things I've experienced with Simba is that I have developed a circle of men, and I can see boys turning into men right before my eyes. And I can see them stepping up and being like, bruh, I'm gonna handle this right now. What needs to be done? You know what I'm saying? And then get to the point of, all right, I'm about to do this. What's the best way you think that I should do this? It's a beautiful thing when you start passing on a mantle of manhood, but most of you don't get to see that. You know why? Because you're not men. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not protecting. You're not trying to provide for the future. It ain't just about putting up money. Yeah, that's a good part of it. But another part of it is making sure that there's going to be a place for your children to belong and to feel safe. All right? You know what I'm saying? Because I know I went off on the sisters, but bros, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You know, and I know a lot of y'all that say, you know, when I try to do the conscious thing, I can't find a woman. Listen, I'm gonna tell you like I used to tell my daughters, look, I'm trying to build men for y'all. And in a sense, older brothers, we got to start building women for some of these younger men. We got to start introducing them to the information. We got to start introducing them to the rights that's going to help them become women for our men. Because right now we have an opportunity to change everything, because we are still blessed. We are still having kids, and we got kids right now that haven't hit puberty yet. Because if we don't get them before they hit puberty, in puberty what starts to happen is that certain patterns and certain habits get formed and certain views get formed in them. Before puberty, the minds are open. And they are open to receive. And you can start programming, you can start putting that programming in them, but you got to see them. If you don't do nothing but see them once a week, you will be surprised how powerful just getting together with a group of young people is, maybe just once a week or once a month. But you're too busy for that. You're not protecting, you're not providing yourself or providing your children with the protection. One of the things that I did, one of the things that drove me to do what I'm doing is, and this is a true story. I told many of y'all this. I had a dream, not Martin Luther King type dream, but I had a dream that my older son, and forgive me wisdom, my older son got murdered. And the person that murdered my older son was somebody that I had refused to help. Somebody that came to me for help, and I refused help. And after that dream, dude, I got up on my shit. I opened my house. You know what I'm saying? I started working with young men that nobody else would work with in my city. I started housing them. I started letting them bring their friends over because they needed to have a touch of me, because my piece was, I wasn't just saving their lives. I felt that I was saving the life of my son. Because these would be some of the ones that would come in opposition of my son as he matured. And I'm still on that, because now I got to build a whole new peer group for my sons and nephews that I have now, because I have a younger son. I'm trying to build him some compadres. You know what I'm saying? And that is a responsibility, and that's something that we all have to take serious. And I have to build them into being men, be able to take the responsibility, because as a man, we have to learn how to not react to everything that a woman says. We have to learn to be patient. We have to, in a sense, learn some nurturing skills, because being that protector and being one of those pieces in the balance of the family, you know what I'm saying? Because this whole European thing, this whole Western mind state got us fucked up. We think that the man is supposed to be the head of the family. No, you never have see, that's why we didn't call our shit kingdoms, because a king was a male symbol. And one of the things that when you allow a male by himself just to run shit, you fuck shit up. And when you let a woman run shit just by herself, you fuck it up. You got to have a balance there. There has to be a king and a queen to balance it out. You know what I'm saying? You have to have that balance. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we need to bring back to community. Women, remember, men shine for you. You know what I'm saying? And men realize that women are attracted to your shine. Now, all we have to do is change the focus. We're focusing on shining externally as men. We need to start producing that inner shine, because this is what starts to happen when you produce that inner shine. You start attracting women and females, younger females, you start attracting them to you because they're hungry and they're looking for something. And you have to be man enough not to take advantage of that shit. You know what I'm saying? You have to be up on your principles so that you can handle your business. You know what I'm saying? And educate. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all think that it stops with just when they come to you, oh, it's open door. No, open door, nigga, you got a responsibility. Every woman that comes to you is not to be laid with. Every woman that comes to you is not to be trifled with. That's that little boy shit. Stop about the boy shit and start getting into the man shit. Because some of you niggas got the book knowledge too. But a lot of you motherfuckers are so you're so analytical in how you think. You have figured out how to justify all your bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And on both ends, whether you talking about males or females, we got to stop accepting the bullshit and stop accepting the bullshit excuses. Almost every group that I've been involved with has been destroyed by two things: money and sex. Money and sex. And let me break down the difference. You look at other cultures, right? And when you look at our ancient culture, we will fall out about shit after. Everybody else fall out about shit after. So if we was to go conquer, first we would conquer something, then we might argue about who gets what. First we conquered it, right? Then we argue about it. You know what I'm saying? So we need to stop. We need to get what we need first, and then we can dispute who has the right to take what. You know what I'm saying? But what we're doing, we stand up ready for battle, and we start arguing about shit that we don't even have. We start arguing about money. You know what I'm saying? I seen this over and over again. We start arguing about shit that we don't even have. We start doing, because I just did a story about it's called The Milkmaid. You can see it on my show called Folk Tales for Grown Folk, where we do like this milkmaid who starts dreaming about all the shit she gonna do with something before she actually has. We want to argue about the chicks before they hatch. We need to wait for the chicks to hatch, then we start arguing about it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what every other culture is doing, and then they argue behind closed doors. Because as me, one of the things I make sure all those that belong to Gianni, all those is in my tribe, all those is in my family. When I see my family members beefing on Facebook, the first thing I tell them, we don't do that shit. So you need to take this shit down. And I hope some of y'all listen, because some of y'all still beefing on Facebook. And I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? Don't make me have to come have to look for you about that bullshit. Because we don't beef out in public like that. Period. You know what I'm saying? We need to get behind closed doors or just leave it alone, because we don't need to be beefing so everybody can see it. So if you claim to Gianni in any way, if your ass came up in my house and you've been in my house for over a month and you ate my motherfucking food, motherfucker, you belong to Gianni. Period. Male or female. So any beef that you have, you are not to broadcast that shit. And that's coming from me. You know what I'm saying? You can have disputes about that shit, but have it in private. You got beef with what I said, and you, one of my family members, motherfucker, call me. Or father call me. Let's talk about it, right? Or come see me, because y'all know where I be. I'm at the Shisha Lounge every Friday. You know what I'm saying? Or every other Friday. When I can get you know. When you see the broadcast and shit going on, more than likely on a Friday or Saturday night, I'm at the Shisha Lounge. Come holler. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have to beef over Facebook or Twitter. We don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? And when y'all see me getting off into it because I slip, y'all need to check me about that. Dad, we don't do that. Brother, we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's some bullshit. You see, because as a family, we don't argue about our shit on the public square. And how much more public can you get than Facebook? Don't you motherfuckers know that everything that we post on Facebook is admissible in court? So if anybody trying to destroy anything that we do, we can beef on Facebook, we can say some fly shit on Facebook thinking that everybody's doing it and something can happen to the person we're beefing with. Next thing you know, they give your ass for murder. You might not have nothing to do with it. Don't allow yourself to be set up like that. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't even know how I got on that. But yeah, you know, we need to start arguing about shit after we get it. We need to start arguing about businesses after we build them and after we done. You know what I'm saying? Not before. Alright? So, hey, bros, Oh, and the second one is sex. Now, this is what we need to really look for in all of our organizations. We need to look for those predators. See, because in every group that I've been in, you have these sexual predators. They come in, and their main purpose of coming in is to just shine just enough. But they don't have to take no responsibility for shit. They don't have to pay no dues. They just want to shine just enough and be in the meetings because they like what's being said. And they're just looking for a victim. They're looking for a sexual victim, male or female. You see what I'm saying? And we got to be very careful about that, because what starts to happen is that people start having sex within your organization and there's no commitment, and all of a sudden now you got people taking sides. Well, he shouldn't have did this. Well, she shouldn't have did that. Well, if we was to all step forward and stand on the principles that we all talk about, we talk about the human side, we talk about the laws of Ma'at, now we need to stop talking about them and we need to live them. You understand? You know what I'm saying? We need to live that. You know what I'm saying? Any woman that's inside of our group does. Any woman that's inside of our group. If y'all decide that y'all gonna get down, y'all need to make sure that y'all have an agreement and protect yourselves as adults. Or better yet, if y'all not going to get serious with each other, just stay the fuck away from each other. You know what I'm saying? If it's not about building, just keep your dick in your pants, keep your creeps locked up so we don't have these problems, because we trying to build and y'all trying to fuck. You know what I'm saying? You don't fuck on the battlefield. We in the battlefield. Motherfuckers are shooting missiles at us. We got black kids dying on the street. We got a community that's stuck in perpetual poverty. Motherfuckers fucking. You motherfuckers arguing over pussy. You motherfuckers arguing over shit that we don't got. You know what I'm saying? We need to change that shit. We need to move beyond that. We need to be men. And women need to be women. Right? And we need to learn to control ourselves and put a lock on it and move forward and start building, man. Because I'm telling you, man, and I've been involved in this a long time. You know what I'm saying? Even some of the stories that I done heard from some of my elders. You know what I'm saying? Even some of the stories that I heard from my elders from the old day. I'm talking about AfroSet. For those that don't know, AfroSet was a militant arm that was here in Columbus and started in Cleveland. My elders in the Black Panthers. You know what I'm saying? And other people involved in the civil rights movement, because of the circles I roll in, I get to run into a lot of these people. When you listen to the stories, shit fall apart. Why? The motherfuckers can't control their sexual organs. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. We big it in there. We big it in there. You know what I'm saying? We come from a history where a woman was so dedicated to her husband that she would not have peace. She could not find peace as a goddess. She could not find peace until she found her husband's body. And not only did she find her husband's body, when her husband's body was cut up into 14 pieces, not only did she go out and get it, she went and got her sister who cheated with her husband, right? And took her son, his son, to help her find the pieces. And she raised her son in a deplorable situation and raised him up with principles. Where the hell is that at? Where the hell is that at? You know what I'm saying? Where is that spirit line? We need to resurrect that shit. The male and the female, we need to resurrect that shit. Where is that honor? Where is that loyalty? Where is that sacrifice? All right, this is Brother Tim, and I done kept you going long enough. I'm going to go out with one more tune from Mr. Deity, and this one is called Yesterday and Tomorrow. I'm going to play this one without talking on it, and I want y'all to check it out. You can hit him up on Facebook, but you know, he provides me with my tracks, along with Orange 82, and to send shouts out to those brothers. Also remember to support my brother PJ. I'm trying to raise that money to help him get a fair trial. You know what I'm saying? You know, because like I said, his story needs to be heard. This is Brother Hatim, and I'm out.
You are now listening to Giami Journey Radio. This is a Heart of a Symbol production. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigms. You are now listening to Giami Journey Radio. This is a Heart of a Symbol production. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigms.